During that viral moment after you fouled out against the Indiana Fever, a lot of people believe what you said was effing white girl or effing white girls. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that. Like, there's no place for that in our league. Wouldn't say that.
So even though you can't remember, you know that was not what you said?
I know it wasn't that because I wouldn't use that type of language.
It started with a clip that went viral overnight. Brittney Griner, jaw tight, towel in hand, storming off the court without shaking anyone's hand. No words, no smiles, just pure frustration. Fans immediately began asking the same question. What happened to Brittney Griner? For over a decade, she had been untouchable, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, a champion, the player who carried the Phoenix Mercury and put women's basketball on the highlight reel. But now, something looked off. The fire was still there, but it felt different, almost desperate, like someone fighting to hold on to something that used to be hers. Because while Griner was once the face of the WNBA, a new name had stolen the spotlight. Caitlin Clark. And the league, the media, the fans, they'd already moved on. Before anyone knew who Caitlin Clark was, Brittney Griner was women's basketball. At Baylor, she didn't just dominate, she changed the sport. Her dunks went viral before viral was even a thing.
I mean, I don't know why she wasn't on the team.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people weighing in. I don't get it. If it makes her feel any better, I don't know. I don't recognize the names of anyone else on the team except for Brittney Griner. And that's not because she's like good at basketball so much as like bad at packing.
Every highlight felt like a warning to opponents. This isn't your typical player. She was a 6'9" powerhouse with guard-level agility, dropping 40-point games while blocking shots with ease. She led Baylor to a 40-0 undefeated season, a record that still stands. The WNBA was waiting for a superstar like her, and when the Phoenix Mercury drafted Griner first overall, the league felt reborn. She became the centerpiece of a new marketing era. Interviews, endorsement deals, all-star appearances, gold medals. Brittney Griner wasn't just a name. She was a movement. But fame comes with a cost, and no one knew that better than Brittney Griner. In 2022, Brittney's life changed overnight. A trip overseas turned into a global crisis. Headlines filled with her name. Politicians debated her case. Fans worldwide watched in shock as the WNBA's brightest star was suddenly gone.
WNBA star Brittney Griner convicted today on drug charges in Russia. A judge sentencing her to 9 years in a penal colony. Griner, detained in Russia for more than 5 months, found guilty of intentionally smuggling vape cartridges of hashish oil into the country.
Months passed before she finally returned home. Thinner, quieter, but still determined to play. Her comeback was emotional. Every arena she entered stood up and cheered. For a moment, Brittney was once again the face of women's basketball, the survivor, the symbol. But while the world focused on her recovery, a brand new story was being written in Iowa, one that would reshape the entire WNBA landscape. While Brittney was fighting her own battles, a college superstar was quietly rewriting history. Caitlin Clark's games weren't just popular, they were breaking records. Sold-out arenas, millions of viewers, fans lining up for autographs hours before tip-off. Her logo-range threes and effortless confidence made her the most talked-about player in America.
Caitlin Clark took the WNBA by storm last year. Now, her team is going to have 41 of their 44 games nationally televised, while the reigning champs, the Liberty, only have 32.
And when she entered the 2024 WNBA draft, the entire sports world tuned in. The Indiana Fever selected her first overall. And just like that, the WNBA changed forever. Ticket prices soared overnight. National broadcasts tripled. Her jerseys sold out before the season even started. Suddenly, every brand wanted a piece of Caitlin Clark. Nike, Wilson, ESPN all reshaped their marketing around the 22-year-old rookie. And somewhere in Phoenix, Brittney Griner was watching. For the first time, she wasn't the league's center of gravity. She was the veteran. It didn't happen all at once. At first, Brittney brushed it off. New stars always came and went, but this was different. The cameras that used to crowd her post-game podium now rushed to Caitlin Clark's locker. The same networks that once opened SportsCenter with Griner highlights were now looping Clark's assists and deep threes.
Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark, and pretty obviously doing so.
Fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
And it doesn't take a lot of genius to lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl.
Even endorsement opportunities began to shift. Nike, once proud to feature Griner in equality campaigns, quietly redirected millions toward Clark's next project. Wilson built an entire marketing line around her name, and the message was clear: the WNBA had a new face. Inside the locker room, veterans noticed. Whispers started spreading that the league had turned its back on the very players who built its foundation, and that's when the tension started to show. During a mid-season press conference, a reporter asked Brittney what she thought of the Caitlin Clark effect. Her answer was professional, but it carried an edge. "It's great for the game. I'm glad more people are watching, but respect in this league isn't given. It's earned." That single sentence broke the internet. Clips of her response flooded social media. Fans zoomed in on her expression, replayed her tone, and instantly created a narrative.
NBA that they cannot handle all this attention that they're getting, as well as the hate and anger towards Caitlin Clark.
You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America, on home soil, would not have too much to complain about.
Brittney Griner is jealous of Caitlin Clark. Others defended her, saying she was simply demanding what every veteran deserves: respect. Either way, the damage was done. For the first time, Griner wasn't being celebrated. She was being criticized. And Caitlin's silence only made things worse. She didn't respond, didn't comment, didn't even like a tweet. Her composure fueled the divide even further. By mid-season, the WNBA community had split in two: Team Griner versus Clark era. On one side, fans argued Brittney had paved the way, that without her, Caitlin wouldn't have a league to play in. They praised her courage, her advocacy, her battles on and off the court. On the other, new fans accused veterans of bitterness. They saw Caitlin as a breath of fresh air, someone finally making women's basketball mainstream. TikTok compilations compared their highlights. YouTube commentators debated who really saved the WNBA.
Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had ever suggested the same in reverse, using black as opposed to white in that sentence, that'd be the end of her WNBA career. But Brittney Griner is going strong. It's totally fine.
Even players across the league subtly picked sides. What was supposed to be unity had become a rivalry. And the league's marketing machine? It quietly fueled the fire. Because drama sells. Then came that game. The Mercury lost a close one. But Brittney's frustration wasn't about the scoreboard. In the final minutes, after a hard foul went uncalled, she shouted at the refs, slammed her towel, and walked straight into the tunnel. No handshake, no interview. The clip hit social media within minutes. Thousands of comments poured in. She's mad she's not the headline anymore. She used to be the star. Now she's just angry. Caitlin Clark would never do this. It didn't matter that Brittney apologized later. The narrative was set. Even sports outlets ran with it. Brittney Griner meltdown. After Caitlin Clark, headlines another night. That's how brutal the spotlight can be. One emotional moment, and suddenly, you're the villain in your own story. Behind closed doors, insiders say the tension isn't just about fame, it's about value. Since her return, Griner's been open about struggling mentally and physically. Some reports claim she's frustrated with how the Mercury have handled her role. Others say she feels used by the league's publicity machine, celebrated when it's convenient, forgotten when it's not. Meanwhile, the team is rebuilding. Younger players are stepping into leadership roles. The chemistry isn't what it used to be. Teammates describe a locker room that feels heavy, like everyone's walking on eggshells. Coaches are trying to protect Brittney while keeping the team focused. But every time Caitlin Clark dominates another headline, Brittney's name trends again, not for her stats, but for her reaction. This part hurts the most, because in the WNBA, media attention equals money. And right now, almost all of it is going to Caitlin Clark. Wilson launched a new ball line with her signature on it. Nike teased a Caitlin Clark shoe campaign that broke pre-order records. Meanwhile, brands that once leaned on Griner's story quietly phased her out of commercials. It's not fair, but it's business. And for someone who carried the league through some of its hardest years, that has to sting.
When you, clearly she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The
or
merchant
American
of
soul.
death.
The merchant of death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the reports. That's who they let out.
The league never meant to pit its stars against each other, but it did. And every sponsorship deal just makes that divide wider. Those close to Brittney say she's more determined than ever. She's been training harder, speaking less, and letting her game do the talking. But privately, she's been honest about feeling forgotten. In one interview, she said, Sometimes it feels like people remember my story, but forget I still play. That's a powerful statement, because it shows the core of what's really going on. Not jealousy, but a fear of fading away. Brittney Griner isn't angry at Caitlin Clark. She's angry at how quickly the world moved on. And deep down, she knows the only way to reclaim the spotlight is to earn it back on the court. The truth is, the WNBA has never been more popular, but also never more divided. For veterans like Griner, it's hard to watch a league you built suddenly revolve around someone else. For rookies like Clark, it's hard to navigate fame that feels bigger than basketball. Both are victims of the same system, a media machine that loves stories of rise and fall. The WNBA needs both of them. Brittney Griner's legacy gives the league credibility. Caitlin Clark's popularity gives it visibility. But until those two worlds align, the divide will remain. The old guard versus the new, respect versus popularity, legacy versus spotlight. Here's the part fans don't know yet. Griner isn't done, not even close. Sources inside Phoenix say she's preparing for what could be her most intense offseason ever. She's rehabbing, training, and refocusing, determined to remind the world she's still that player. And the best part? Caitlin Clark's rise might be the exact motivation she needed. Because when veterans feel underestimated, they come back swinging. And Brittney Griner's pride runs deep. Next season, don't be surprised if she delivers a statement performance, not through words, but through dominance. And when that happens, the internet will have to decide all over again. Who really runs the WNBA? At the end of the day, this story isn't just about rivalry, it's about evolution. Brittney Griner built the foundation. Caitlin Clark brought the cameras. One represents the league's fight for recognition. The other represents its leap into mainstream success. They're not enemies. They're symbols of different eras colliding. So maybe Brittney Griner didn't snap. Maybe she simply reminded everyone that she's still here. And if the WNBA can learn how to balance legacy and fame, the next decade could be the most explosive era women's basketball has ever seen. Because this isn't the end of Brittney Griner's story. It's just her next chapter.